his Twitter account, President Paul Kagame said, "This challenging time reminds each of us that our collective well-being, prosperity and dignity will only be achieved through unity of purpose." Thank you to Chairperson Cyril Ramaphosa and AU Commission Chairperson Faki Mahamati for their leadership towards the Africa we want. As the continent comes together to celebrate 57th anniversary of the African Liberation Day, the African Union Commission has urged Africans not to be distracted by the COVID-19 pandemic and forget another most pressing issue the continent is faced with, silencing the guns. On the 25th May 1963, the Organization of the African Unity was founded, and the day has since been termed as African Liberation Day, celebrated annually on 25th May. In celebrating the foundation of the African Union, several leaders across the continent took on Twitter and several other online platforms to air out their sentiments, generally calling for solidarity in fighting COVID-19 pandemic. Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of South Africa and the current Chairperson of the African Union, says that as countries around the world battle against coronavirus pandemic, Africa must not let up on its effort to drive the African agenda of the security, peace and stability.
To address the escalating humanitarian crisis, we need to deepen our solidarity. We must ensure the pandemic does not reverse our developmental goals. We must forge ahead with meeting the aspirations of Agenda 2063. We must move ahead with the most ambitious step towards Pan-African integration to date, the creation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and ensure that it is operational soon. We must not let up on our efforts to drive the African agenda of security, peace and stability, of democracy and human rights, of women's emancipation and the protection of the environment. We must not, under any circumstances, allow this global health emergency to derail our efforts to silence the guns on our continent.
Musa Faki Mahamati, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, noted that a more Africanist vision, focusing on common and binding strategic objectives, will be required if the continent is to pursue the legitimate aspirations of the AU founding fathers.
La grande question que nous rappelle la COVID-19, avec une voix assommante, est cette impérieuse nécessité de rompre cette dépendance de l'extérieur par le double impératif de vivre de nos propres ressources et de nous engager hardiment dans la voie de notre propre industrialisation. Des ensembles moins nantis que nous l'ont réussi dans des temps records. J'invite avec empressement les femmes, la jeunesse, les intellectuels, les académiciens, les universitaires, les hommes politiques, les hommes d'affaires et les vaillants militants de la société civile à engager une réflexion féconde et active sur cette question centrale pour notre survie matérielle, notre indépendance, notre liberté et notre dignité.
Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, commended Africa for responding swiftly and decisively to COVID-19. Even so, the pandemic threatens the continent's progress. On Africa Day, Guterres reaffirmed his total solidarity with the people of Africa in fighting coronavirus and paving the way for the recovery and a better future for all. Rubaduka Frank, on the other hand, says that Africa still has a long way to go to break free from the chains of colonialism. He shares similar sentiments with Harmony Kunu, a Nigerian national based in Rwanda.
Ugasanga umwana w'umunyafrika yibagiye ko hari ikizima gituruka muri Afrika.
It is a shame to see an African undermining the power of Africa to produce something of quality, because every single day we pay attention to what is coming from outside. We've reached the point of comparing Africa with movies that we watch from abroad.
Ugasanga Afrika irutishijwe film.
So we have two groups of African leaders, those that are patriotic and those that are not patriotic, who are after their self-pocket and Western nation. So that is one liberation first. But I think indirectly, we are not fully liberated because our system, our economy, our leadership, our management, and all that is still being influenced by the Western nation.
60 years ago, African countries rose in unison to fight for liberation. Several organizations were founded to support the movement, and in 1963, the Organization of African Unity was founded, which later became the African Union.